Two are being held at an intelligence facility in Buya.
We believe that the reason as why these people were abducted and kidnapped is because they had come to show solidarity with one of the presidential candidates who is in the opposition, Robert Kyagulanyi, and you know the dictator and the Museveni's government are fearful of people that come with that kind of solidarity, the togetherness.
All right, this is another update about the two Kenyans that were abducted in Uganda. That is Bobi, the chairman of Free Kenya movement, as well as Nicholas Oyo, the secretary general. Today, the UPDF, remember, the court gave Museveni and his entire regime 24 hours, the final 24 hours, to release them in court, dead or alive. Now, the UPDF came out, denied detaining these two comrades. Remember, previously, police also came out, denied detaining them. Of course, there are very many updates today about this issue, and it is the show. The mother to Bob has also come out pleading to the First Lady of Uganda to intervene in these issues. Tata we naye kenyini nyini avuddeyo n'agamba nti nno omwana we bamute. Recently, activists abenjawulo okuva mu Amnesty International Kenya, Vocal Africa, as well as Kenya Law Society penned down a global petition, of course, to force Museveni and his regime to release these two. The tension is growing, and of course, so many people are now joining this cause to make sure that at the end of the day, these two are free because they committed no single crime. The mother, when you hear her speak, Okabana Maziga, kwasenaku tata weke nyini nyini. I believe let's start from the message from the father, and then we go to the mother. Then I take you to the UPDF. I take you to the police as well, and so many updates about this issue. Of course, this is the JB Mongi Talk Show, and specifically, this is about the two Kenyans that were abducted in Uganda on the 1st of October. Those two had come to visit Bobi Wine, to stand in solidarity with Bobi Wine. Of course, they committed no single crime. They were abducted, and since then, no one knows their whereabouts. Let's start from here.
It's been 22 days since two Kenyan human rights activists, Bob Njagi and Nicholas Oyo, disappeared in Uganda under mysterious circumstances. The pair, affiliated with the Free Kenya movement, were reportedly abducted by men believed to be Ugandan security agents while attending opposition leader Bobi Wine's campaign rally. Tonight, as questions mount and answers remain elusive, the Ugandan Defense Forces has since denied any involvement, even as Njagi's 84-year-old father makes a desperate plea for his son's return.
Outside his modest home in Kitengela, 84-year-old Frank Njagi sits quietly under a tree, his frail hands clasped, his eyes weary from waiting.
I'm worried because my son...
That's the father. That's Bob's father, Bob Njagi. That is the father.
Bob Museveni Njagi has disappeared. And the last time I heard of him, he was in Uganda.
Yeah, in Uganda, yes.
And I heard that he had been taken by Uganda Police.
Bob Njagi and fellow activist Nicholas Oyo were last seen on October 1st in Kampala after their vehicle broke down at a petrol station. Witnesses say armed men in plain clothes bundled them into a van and sped off. A broad daylight abduction that has since sparked outrage and growing international concern. Since their disappearance, activists and human rights defenders have continued to raise alarm, demanding transparency from both the Kenyan and Ugandan governments.
To refresh your mind, of course, this is how it all started. Actually, let me take you back a bit, and then you get to know how they were abducted.
Njagi and Nicholas Oyo were likely seized by Ugandan security forces, leading to their disappearance since Wednesday, the 1st of this month. A friend who was with the duo, Kofi Atinda, told Citizen TV that the duo was set to meet Ugandan opposition leader Bobi Wine, having tagged along for his campaigns when the abduction happened. Citizen TV's O'Day Francis had a chance with Atinda, who arrived from Uganda today, having barely escaped abduction due to confusion during Njagi and Oyo's arrest.
Now, the gentleman you see in a red t-shirt, that is Kofi Atinda. Of course, he was part of them and he escaped from Uganda back to Kenya. He narrates how it all started and how they were abducted.
Kofi Atinda arrived in Nairobi via Jinja, Uganda, after surviving an attempted abduction in the neighboring country. His colleagues, Bob Njagi and Nicholas Oyo, were not as fortunate. He recounts what happened in Uganda.
Before we went to Kampala, we went through Jinja. We slept in Jinja for 2 days. And then from there, we were actually invited for a private meeting with Bobi Wine. So the day we were to meet him is when Bob Njagi and Nicholas Oyo, for the Free Kenya Movement Secretary General, that's when we lost them.
According to Atinda, the abductors wore distinctive uniform, were masked to conceal identity.
I want you to listen carefully at that point.
And appeared to be police or other national security officials. They struck soon after they had taken lunch.
A vehicle came, a van, that had men who were in uniform.
Men who were in uniform.
And others were not in uniform.
And others were not in uniform.
Others were armed, and there was a woman.
Others were armed.
One, and then they took Bob and also SG and I myself.
His escape, he says, was made possible by a car he had left unlocked after lunch.
They had left me first of all, and then there's a lady who was just pointing at me, and then even that one. So a man came and then grabbed my back and then pushed me to the car.
The families of Bob.
Now, that is how they were abducted. That was on the 1st of October this year. So it's coming to a month. Of course, as of today, just like I told you, the UPDF, that's the Uganda People's Defense Force, came out, told the court that they don't have them.
And accusing authorities of silence and complicity. But the Ugandan Defense Forces have flatly denied detaining the two Kenyans, insisting they are not in any of their facilities. For Frank Njagi, however, that denial only deepens the pain. Every unanswered question a fresh emotional wound for him.
I would very much appreciate our government to do so, because I believe nobody in Kenya has more ability to get it done than the government.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs is yet to comment on the whereabouts of the two Kenyans or the circumstances under which they went missing. This is despite the Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen saying on October 2nd that the Musalia Mudavadi-led ministry was following on the matter. As the sun sets on another day, Bob Njagi's father holds on to hope that his son will return home back.
Now, let's get a message from the mother. Actually, she's sending a message to the First Lady of Uganda, that is Janet Museveni, to intervene and also do something. First, listen to her.
My name is Savera Njagi, mother to Bob Museveni, whom I understand is in Uganda. I take this opportunity to appeal to the First Lady of Uganda, Madam Janet Museveni. As a mother, I knew about mission being held in Uganda on Tuesday when I was in hospital, in a hospital bed. This news was hidden from me until Wednesday, when a family member informed me that they are not known where they are, but they are someplace in Uganda. This news bothered me because I was very sick in hospital. But no, I thank God about. My appeal to you, madam, is please, kindly, as a mother, please these two young men, because they are there without knowing what crime they have done. I want to appeal because the more they are there, our mind, or my mind, whether at night or during the day, is important. This is hindering even the treatment I'm going through. And it's my hope that if they are released, I will be able to talk to them to avoid issues like this in Uganda, for him to settle in Kenya. Just have mercy through the officials in that country. We will really appreciate, we love you, we admire you, we admire you as mother to that nation. This is just what I can say. Because the more they are there, that is Bob and oil, it is causing stress, sleepless nights. And we hope that God, who is fair in all things, God who sees the things that happen here on earth, will be able to account you good health also and good prosperity. Thank you.
That is the mother, Bob's mother, pleading to the First Lady of Uganda to intervene, do something. Of course, these two were taken by the military. John, one of the lawyers in this case, is a Kenyan. He stated it right a few weeks ago when Uganda police came out and distanced itself from detaining these two. Of course, John came out and said, no, we did not say that it's police having them. It's the army, it's the military. And of course, as very many allege, they are held at a military facility in Mbuya. Of course, according to the lawyers, that's the Elon Chiza's team, the one that he applied for the habeas corpus, which has led to this update of Uganda People's Defense Force coming out, denying, detaining them and all that kind of a thing. What I need you to understand in all this, Uganda security forces have come out only once, and of course after pressure. That was the case of Edward Sebufu, the head of security of Bobi Wine. He was abducted, whisked away, head incommunicado, no one knows his whereabouts, and boom, police comes out, says, we don't have him. The UPDF also comes out, we don't have him. This is it. Look at this. This was police. I want you to read clearly there. That is police. This is Edward Sebufu, commonly known as Eddie Mutwe. This happened this year in April. Police have denied detaining Edward Sebufu, alias Eddie Mutwe, the chief civilian bodyguard to Robert Kyagulanyi, the opposition National Unity Platform principal. Police spokesperson Chituma Lusoke told journalists at the police headquarters in Kampala yesterday that he has not been briefed about Eddie Mutwe's disappearance. Only for Eddie Mutwe to appear in court and is now after a few days, after these remarks, just after a few days, he appeared like this. That's how Eddie Mutwe appeared. He was tortured beyond recognition. He couldn't support himself to walk. He couldn't support himself to walk. They didn't want anyone to capture that moment. They chased away all the journalists. For him to walk to the courtroom, they had to support him. I'm showing you this after having told you that this happened after police coming out with the same kind of story that we don't have Edward Sebufu. After UPDF coming out saying the same thing, that we don't have him. But when pressure mounted, they released him. There he is. So what do I want to mean this? Our brothers in Kenya, you need to mount more pressure. You need to mount more pressure. Otherwise, we have cases of comrades that have been abducted, and since their abduction, we've never seen them again. Here is one. The gentleman you saw on the screen goes by the name John Bosco Chibalama. During the early stages of the People Power movement, that's way back in 2019, the movement was just, growing. It had just been introduced to Ugandans by His Excellency Bobi Wine. He's one of those brave Ugandans that showed interest to stand as members of parliament, as a member of parliament. I've forgotten the area. But guess what happened? They abducted him on the 3rd of June 2019. We demanded him a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 2 months, 3 months, up to today. No one has ever seen him again. We have another one by the name Museveni John Damulira. He was abducted on the 23rd of November 2020. And up to today, no one knows his whereabouts. Not only those two, very many others, more than 18. Remember, some abductions do not capture media attention. Most of these abductions target critical voices, dissenting voices. So, that's why I'm like, you guys in Kenya, you need to mount more pressure. We not take out pressure ya manyi nnyo. Babachali bafe bali wana Uganda ensonga eno tetugitaddeeko nnyo maanyi gamala. Tetugitaddeeko nnyo maanyi gamala. Sinakulengerayo activist mulala yina ensonga eno ng'agipushinga nnyo tulina ogipushinga, because these two had come to stand with us in this cause of redirecting this country back to the right lines. It has been 40 years with one man, Museveni. Imagine, we've got a president who captured the power in 1986, and up to today, he's still campaigning. And the young Ugandans are saying, no, enough is enough. We have to restructure this country back to the right lines. And guess what is happening? This. Abductions, forced disappearances, illegal arrests, and all that kind of thing. Of course, just like any other dictator, remember they are all in the same WhatsApp group, they share similar messages, they read from the same text, they employ the same tactics to crush dissent. But guess what? Their story ends as the rise and the fall. Of course, let me hope I told you guys that today, remember, court gave Ugandan government 24 hours to release these two. And guess what? It was just a written response. It was just a written response. As I wind up this, Uganda military denies holding Kenyan activists Bobi and Nicholas Oyo. The Uganda People's Defense Force has refuted claims that it is holding Kenyan activists Bobi and Nicholas Oyo, who were allegedly abducted in Uganda. In his affidavit called / Commander, a director of the Joint Staff Legal Services on behalf of the UPDF, said the Rigorous investigations have established that the two activists are not in the army's custody. Yeah. Of course, it is a lie. They will not tell you that they have them because they know what they did is wrong. If someone has committed a crime, arrest that person. Produce that person before courts of laws. Don't abduct that person. Don't detain him more than 24 hours. More than 48 hours as per the constitution of the land. So sad that the family is going through a lot. You've had the mother, she's sick. She can't even speak properly. Bob actually was the breadwinner of the family, as in he could help the mother buy medicine, as she narrated a few weeks back during the prayer sessions that were held to pray for the safety of these two. That's the update. That is the update. But my advice to fellow Kenyans, you need to mount more pressure. Otherwise, there is a possibility that you will never see these two again. You have to mount pressure. Pressure after pressure. This is how they were abducted. Or this is how they entered Uganda and how they were abducted. I think I don't need... I've given you lots of updates about this. I think let's end it here. In case of any other update, I'll come back tomorrow. We go through it. And yeah, maybe let's just end with this. Let's just end with this and we call it a day.
The whereabouts of the two Kenyan activists, Bob Njagi and Nicholas Oyo, still remain unknown. Today, during the habeas corpus hearing, Ugandan security forces failed to produce Bob and Nicholas in court, maintaining they have no records of the two in their custody. Meanwhile, amid the mounting pressure, the Kenyan government has yet to provide an update on the status of the two. According to witness accounts, they were last seen in Kireka, a suburb of Kampala, picked up by ununiformed officers. Sheila Chalangata reports.
For the families of Bob Njagi and Nicholas Oyo, the past 21 days have been nothing short of torment. Days filled with waiting, calls that go unanswered and hopes that keep fading. And for today, the hopes of seeing the two produced in court were once again crushed. Ugandan security forces from their investigations maintain that they do not have records of the two Kenyan activists.
You will really wonder who is saying the truth. We are wondering who are those who abducted them, because if the Ugandan government say they are not there, we don't know who now did that.
Colonel Silas, commander of the Uganda People's Defense Forces, testified that a search was conducted in all relevant detention facilities, but no entry was found relating to Bob Njagi or Nicholas Oyo since the 1st of October.
Those are details for us. We just want to the Kenyan and the Ugandan government to help us get them back. We know that both the governments have machinery to track where they are and to help us bring them back.
This twist of events now turns the spotlight squarely on Kenya's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which to date has not given an update on the diplomatic efforts to trace the two.
The days keep counting. It was day 1, it was day 10, today's day 21. We don't want it to go beyond this.
At the hearing on Wednesday, lawyers appearing for Bob and Nicholas in their rebuttal demanded for an unconditional release order, pleading with the court to find the head of military intelligence in contempt of court. The court, however, is yet to give its ruling on the matter.
As night falls on yet...
All right, I think that is it for the day. In the case of any other update, I'll still come and give it to you.